What's up, Brenda? All right, all right, all right. Yeah. Hey, what's up? What's up? Hey, Kieran, how are you? All right, y'all, we'll get started. Y'all give me some likes. Give me some likes. Give me some likes. Give me some likes. And let's get busy. For your listening pleasure, a little Sade. No ordinary. I love Sade, y'all. I love Sade. I think they say is it Sade or is it Sade? I don't know, but I love it. All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm looking at my Instagram. Looks like it just stopped. Let's see. Oh, maybe it did. All right, checking connection live. I'm. Can y'all see me on Instagram? It looks like it's stuck. It's stuck on Instagram. All right, y'all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me start it over on Instagram. Let me start it over. Hold on. Let me start it over. All right, let's start it over. All right, let's see what we can do. Yeah, no, I hate when you got technical difficulties. All right, we back on Instagram. When you have these technical difficulties, y'all know how it is. All right, so we're going to get started here in a second. And what we're going to talk about tonight. So, y'all know I've been doing this series for those of you who've been watching, I've been doing a series on emotional unavailability. And how do you communicate with the person who is emotionally unavailable? And so the reason why I've been doing that is because a lot of people say that people are emotionally unavailable, right? And so if you are in a relationship or you're dating someone who you think is emotionally unavailable, and I'm going to explain what that is, all right? Because a lot of people say that. A lot of people use the term, yeah, and I want to be honest, a lot of women use it and say the man is emotionally unavailable. And so tonight we're going to talk about it. Some people say I keep freezing. Let me ask you a question. Can y'all hear me okay? Is the video okay? I'm not getting any comments on YouTube or Facebook. If you're on YouTube or Facebook, just hit me in the comments section and say, I'm here. All right, it's okay. It's okay. It's good on your, Miss Cat says it's good. All right, so it's good over there. All right. Hey, Jessica, it might be on your end. All right. What about here on what about here on you can hear me here on Facebook? Okay, can you hear me? All right. So everybody is good on Facebook, we're good on YouTube. All right. So you know how some people are not vulnerable and they're not willing to share, especially if you're in a relationship and you're attempting to find out about the person and you're attempting to get closer or get deeper or go under the surface. And so you think, and you ever been with somebody and it's like after 2 hours, you act like, and you feel like you don't know them any better than you did 2 hours ago. And so tonight, we're going to talk about emotional unavailability, but we're going to talk about it from the attachment style. And I don't know, I'm going to discuss attachment theory to you tonight. And some of you have an avoidant, dismissive attachment style. Now, I'm going to break it down to you tonight, and I'm going to tell you why a person has that. Now, probably on the next one, I'm going to tell you how to communicate with them. But if you are wanting to communicate with people who are not as open with information as you are, first thing you've got to do is understand why. It may be a man, and this is not a gender thing. It may be a man, it may be a woman. But if you want to make your relationship better, if you want to be better at communication, y'all know that those of you who watch me know that I'm a communications person. I'm a communications expert. I'm good. I can show you how to communicate better. That's what I'm a relationship coach and a communications specialist. I can teach you how to be better at communication. So the reason why I'm doing this, I love Bella. What we're talking about, Bella, we're talking about communicating with emotionally unavailable people. But what we're talking about more specifically tonight, you date somebody or you meet somebody or you're in a relationship with somebody who has an avoidant, dismissive attachment style. And I'm going to explain that in a second. But before I get into all of that, I want to know your name and where you're checking in from. Your name and where you're checking in from, so I can properly acknowledge you, because you could be anywhere in the world, but you are here with me tonight. You are here with me tonight. We got Nikita from Chicago. We got Rosalind from the DMV area. That's the district, Maryland and Virginia. Kimberly from Lubbock, Texas. Jesse from Florida. Kathy from California. Desiree from Los Angeles. And then we've got, who else we got? We got somebody, Georgia, and I'm beautiful. I know that's right. Melody from Long Beach, California. Lisa from Cincinnati. Lucky from Hartford, Connecticut. What up, Cody? Miss Cody Michelle from St. Louis. Hey there. Martina from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Isabella from Los Angeles. We got Pam in the building from North Carolina. North Carolina. That's where I'm at. All right. Who else we got? We got is that Shanine from Indianapolis? Lucinda from what I don't know, from where? Caris or Caris from Dallas. We've got Cindy from Kansas. We've got the pretty activist from Detroit in the building. All right. And let's see, we got a whole bunch of other folk in here, because you all don't see I got 4 platforms up. I got Instagram, TikTok, I got YouTube and Facebook up on my screen. And so, yeah, y'all ever notice? All right, so when I come on live, right, I'm going to be doing Tuesday and Thursdays. I'm going to be coming on at 8:30 or 9, 8:30 or 9 every night. Thursday we do our podcast. So I'm coming on 9 at Thursday, and on Tuesday I'm gonna come on at 8:30. And so tonight I'm going to talk to you about emotionally unavailable. You saw me on Pastor Kim's podcast. Pastor Kim, that's my dog right there. That's my girl. I love Pastor Kim. And so we're going to talk about communicating with people who are emotionally unavailable. And so let me explain something to you. I had someone on my live on Tuesday who said something that I was like, wow. And here's what she said. She said, Coach, why in the world would we want to communicate with somebody who's emotionally unavailable? Just get rid of them. Let them go. And then I said, wow. All right, let me explain why I said wow. No, somebody's on live. Somebody is asking me something, so I was on live for a minute, so I had to return the text. So somebody said, "Why just not get rid of them?" And then I thought to myself, I said, the reason you don't discard people because when they're emotionally unavailable is because what we don't know is instead of us learning how to communicate with a person who's emotionally unavailable at the time, first understand why a person is the way that they are. And then you get the skill set to communicate with that person because can we be honest? Some of you are emotionally unavailable. And what if they say just discard you? Some of you have an anxious attachment style. What if they say discard you? Some of us have an avoidant and anxious attachment style together in one. What if they said avoid you? Just get rid of you. And then I thought to myself, it is always easier to say, I'm done. That is one of the reasons why relationships don't work is because it is far easier for everyone to say, I'm done. Let them go. Because in the way that I coach a lot of people, y'all, thousands of people. I put a lot of relationships together. I've saved so many marriages and relationships. And what I found, the relationships that work, the ones that work are the ones where people said, I understand that you're imperfect. I understand that I'm imperfect. I understand that I don't have the skill set because most of us don't have the skill set. I'll give you an example. So let me give you an example. Most of us have been trained to do our jobs. We've been trained to do our jobs. We've been trained to balance a checkbook. We've been trained to do a lot of things. But why is relationships are one of the few things that we are not trained to do. Why is it that we're not trained to do? And because we're not trained to do it, and then we just expect it to work because we feel a certain way. Because you're all in love, you don't have the skill set, but you just expect it to work. Thank you. All right, appreciate you. My honey just brought me some water because I was caught. All right. And so, thank you, baby. And so, why is it that relationships are the one thing that we just expect to work? We don't get the skill set. We don't learn how to communicate. We don't learn about attachment styles. We don't learn conflict resolution. We don't learn any of that. But we just expect it to work because, ooh, I'm in love. Ooh, I feel a certain way. We just expect it to work, but you've never been trained on how to do these things. And then Coach Ken comes along, who understands these things from years of study, years of coaching, and he tells you something, but you don't want to accept it. So I've been doing these free sessions, right? I've been doing free sessions for the last 2 months, and I've never done free sessions before. But I decided I wanted to give back because God has blessed me. I'd be the first one to tell you that I love the Lord. I love Jesus Christ. I am a Christian, but I am not a fake Christian. I might cuss tomorrow, but I'm a man of integrity, a man who is not a perfect man, a man who knows that he is imperfect, that I'm only perfected by God, a man who knows that his mission is to change and transform relationships. That's who I am, a man who knows that. And I am fully aware of my mission and my purpose. But I also know that I'm not an influencer. I got 1.3 million followers, but I am not an influencer. What I am is a transformation specialist. I specialize in transforming people's lives. And so the thing is, many of us don't want our lives transformed. So you pray for the great relationship. You say, God, I want somebody to love me unconditionally. I want somebody to love me, God, and I know that there is somebody out there, or either I don't believe it, but I'm praying that God will send me that person. But then God instead, he sends you a Coach Ken. Hey, Lasanta, good to see you. I ain't seen you in a while. Good to see you. But God sends you a Coach Ken. And he sends you Coach Ken to tell you, hey, this is the area that you need to work on. You've been praying to me for the right relationship. Okay, I'm going to give you the right relationship, but I'm also going to tell you, you've got to become the person that can have the kind of relationship that you want. Because if you want the right relationship, if you want the right person, you got to become the right person. And Coach Ken tells you that, but you don't want to hear it. But you don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear it. But then I send Coach Ken because he's been through it with him and his wife, almost headed for divorce court. But he's a man who went from no integrity to integrity. He's a man that's in a great relationship, 23 years married to the same woman. He's a man that does not cheat on his wife. Listen to me carefully. If you don't know what something looks like, you won't know it when you see it. Ooh-wee. If you don't know what something looks like, you won't know it when you see it. And so here's the thing. And so what I'm saying to you is, my job is not to tell you to walk away. Now, some people you're gonna have to walk away from. Some people, hey, you're gonna have to walk away. All right. But but I will say this to you. I will say that you walk away. Someone just said, I love Bella just says, what about if both people are done? They're both drained. I once heard if both people are completely done, then there's nothing else can be done. Yeah, that's true. I agree. If both people are done, Bella, then it's done. It's over. Why wait? Why stop? What happens is when both people are done, what happens is when you stay, the relationship begins to poison both of you. That is when toxicity happens. But but a lot of people are done because they don't know that there is a way forward. Some people are not done. They just don't know that there's a way forward. So tonight, I want to talk to you about, for those of you, because most people are poor communicators. That's just the truth. 98% of people are poor communicators. I know therapists that are poor communicators. Yes, they can operate in a therapy realm. They can ask you questions. They can get something out of you. They're good at their job. But you put them in a relationship and they don't know how to communicate. You know why? You want to know the difference, y'all? Why it's easy to communicate on your job? Why it's easy to communicate in the military? Therapists, easy to communicate? Here's why. Because when you communicate on your job, it's outcome based. You communicate based on the outcome you're attempting to get. That's why it's easy to do that. All right. Now, in romantic relationships, friends and family relationships, it is not outcome based. It is emotionally based. Okay. There is no outcome. And so when emotions are involved, that is the reason why you're able to communicate well on your job, because it's outcome based. But when communication is emotionally based, you don't know what to do. You don't know how to communicate. And so a lot of times when you're dealing with a person with an avoidant attachment style, with a person who is emotionally unavailable because of that avoidant attachment style, and you don't have the skill set. You don't have the skill set. So what you do is you just say, I'm gonna walk away from the relationship. Now, some people say walk away. Okay, maybe you should. Maybe the relationship is worth not walking away. And hey, Heidi, hey there. And maybe the relationship is not. But tonight, I'm gonna give you I want you to understand. When a person's emotionally unavailable and they have the avoidant dismissive attachment style, we're gonna go with that. So let's talk about this. First thing I want you to understand, there are 4 predominant attachment styles. I'm not gonna go, and this was this attachment theory. This is all a part of attachment theory, developed by, I think it's Carl Jung back in the 50s. And what he said that attachment theory is based on how you were raised. And it was based on your interaction with your caregivers, maybe mother, maybe father, maybe mother figure. But it was based on your relationship with them and determining how you would react to people in terms of your attachment based on this relationship with your caregivers. And what they said was, if the caregivers acted in a certain way, okay, behaved in a certain way, you would develop a certain style, okay? And you develop a certain style, all right? And Lee Haney says, do you have a book yet? I have 10 books. Lee, go to my website, Coach Ken Canyon, and you can see all of them there. I have ebooks, I have hardcover books, all of them. All right. But tonight we're going to specifically talk about, because I've been dealing with emotionally unavailable, because I have a 5-day challenge coming up. For those of you who want to get better at communicating, and this challenge is called Beyond the Silence, communicating with emotionally unavailable people. And so up until that day, I want some of you I've had several people already join the challenge. It's going to be crowded in there. And so I need you, for those of you who truly want to learn how to communicate and you want to save your relationship, you're going to have to join the challenge. But I'm going to give you a little bit tonight. Every night, I'm going to give you a little bit. So now there are 4 different attachment styles primarily. There is the anxious, preoccupied attachment style. It's when the person's super anxious. Then there is the avoidant, dismissive attachment style. That is the one I'm going to discuss tonight. Then you have the avoidant, anxious style. That's the person's who's on, it's a push and pull with them. And then you have a person who has a secured attachment style. Secure attachment style. That means that they are fairly balanced in the way that they interact with you in a relationship. And some of you think that you have a secure attachment style. You think because you say I'm not insecure, so I have a secure attachment style. So for tonight, The reason I'm going to deal with dismissive avoidant is because many people who are emotionally unavailable fall in this category. But before you pass judgment on them, before you say dismiss them, you've got to understand where this comes from. What happens? How did they end up this way? Now, because the reason I'm not down with dismissing, because I used to have an avoidant style, an avoidant style. And I didn't realize why, but now I do. Okay. And this avoidant dismissive style stems from many times our childhood experience that our emotional needs were consistently neglected or invalidated. For instance, when a person was young, their caregiver, maybe let's say they worked all the time, okay? Let's say they were not around and maybe they dropped you off at mama's house or your auntie's house or grandmama's house. And when you find out, and you would maybe be waiting for mom to come, and mom didn't show up till late to pick you up. Or maybe you were bounced around from house to house. And what you realized is you had a deep belief that you had to be self-sufficient. And so what you did was you compartmentalized how that worked. You compartmentalized this self-sufficiency. So what you would do is you would avoid stuff. You would avoid things. You would become self-sufficient. You would become emotionally detached. Now, some people, now, I'm going to talk to you about the core wounds of this person. And if the person felt like they were neglected or invalidated, and see, this is not something that is conscious many times. This is not something that is conscious, okay? That is conscious, all right? Lady Boo, you didn't get what alert? I don't know which alert you're talking about. Tell me what alert you're talking about. Email it to me or tell me here. Okay. And so what happens is this is the way you begin coping with, and sometimes, y'all, many people who have an avoidant style, an avoidant dismissive style, they act like they don't care. But what you don't realize is you don't realize that it is their protection mechanism because they don't want to be rejected or abandoned. And because they don't, what they do is they don't get emotionally attached to protect themselves. And see, you think it's all about you. You think many times they not talking because they don't want to talk about the relationship because you think that they not talking. So what you say is no, it's not necessarily best to walk away because it depends. It depends, Miss Papula. It depends because everybody's got something going on with them. Some people are anxious. Do you walk away from that? I don't know what your circumstance is. It depends because if you've been trained, Miss Papula, on how to communicate with that person, if you've never been trained on how to communicate with that person, no, I wouldn't walk away. If the relationship would, no, I would say get training, get coaching. I would say get mentoring first. Put everything you have into it. Then decide if you want to walk away. But why walk away? Because think about it. If you ain't never did anything to get better, to work on the relationship, why walk away? Why walk away if you've not done everything that you can do? And so tonight, what I want to do, I want to talk to you about their core wounds. Why a person is avoidant dismissive. Why? I'm going to give you 5 or 6 reasons why. And if you decide to come to my 5-day challenge, Anybody here tonight, if you want to talk to me of whether this challenge is right for you, all you have to do is email me at coachkencanion at gmail.com. Coachkencanion at gmail, because I'm doing these 30-minute free sessions, but I'm going to direct many of you to this challenge because it's literally 5 days that's going to change your life. It's literally, but let me give you a little something of what you're going to get there. So the first thing I want you to understand is the first wound is they have a fear of being smothered or trapped. You see, whenever a person who has an avoidant dismissive attachment style, they feel like they don't ever want to be trapped again. They don't ever want to be left somewhere. Like if your caregiver left you over grandmama's house for hours, or left you in a place where you felt trapped, where you felt smothered, that you had no way out. So their fear is that it's a wound. Their wound is, I feel like I'm going to be trapped. That is the reason why you have a person who has an anxious attachment style and an avoidant attachment style. It becomes like that one person wants you to call every 15 minutes and the other person's rather not talk to you the whole day. And then you have this. But you don't really know that. You don't really know that. The second thing is this. They have a fear that people will invalidate their emotions. They will invalidate their emotions. So what do? They have a tendency to downplay emotions. That's why if you ever dealt with a person that's an avoidant, dismissive, and they say something like, "You're not listening to me. You don't listen, so I ain't gonna talk." Because they have a fear that you're going to dismiss their emotions. And it could be stemming from their childhood where their emotions, their voice was never heard. And if they did say something, the other person was like, "Shut up." Or they dismissed them as though it was not important. Now we get it, Miss Popola. His mother left him with his grandma. Now he thinks, see, now you're learning. Miss Popola, this is what I want you to do. Book a session with me. It's free. It's free. Everybody been booking sessions with me at coachkencanion at gmail. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to repair this relationship. You ain't never been trained. Email me at coachkencanion at gmail.com and say, "Coach, I want to book a 30-minute session." Y'all know I've been doing these for the month. All right. The third reason why a person, the core wound, when I say core wound, these are wounds that cause them to have this attachment styles. Someone said it's worth it. Thank you. All right. And so it's fear of rejection. Fear of rejection. Now, they may be distant. They may be distant because they have an underlying fear of rejection. So you know what they say? "Hey, Omo, what's up? Hey there." Almost say it's worth it, y'all, to do the session. Think about it like this. If you believe that you're going to be rejected, you ever been around somebody, they act like they don't care? They say, "Well, I don't care. I don't care because ain't nobody gonna listen anyway. I don't care because you fake love anyway. I don't care because you know what? You're gonna cheat anyway." And what they're doing, y'all, is they're protecting themselves. Many of you do it. Many of you do it. But you don't know that it's an anxious, dismissive attachment style. And so, y'all, and so when you come to my challenge, when you come to the challenge, I'm going to teach y'all how to communicate because most of you have never communicated for yourself. Most of you don't have a clue. You out here and you're not equipped. You're not equipped. And so what I'm saying to you, this challenge I got coming up, it's called, listen, y'all, the challenge is called Beyond the Silence, communicating with emotionally unavailable people. This is not a gender thing. This is for men. It is for women. Because y'all, my goal is to save relationships. And for those of you who know that you want to book the challenge, what I'm gonna tell you is this. Some of you, I'm gonna give you two options. Stay to the end. I'm gonna give you two options. I'm gonna give you two options. I know I'm gonna give you one option, but I'm gonna give you two options tonight for those of you who want to. And so, another reason why that an avoidant dismissive, what is their fear wound, core wound is they believe that conflict is going to hurt them. So what do? And a lot of them, y'all, this is where a lot of men, and this is where a lot of men do. And this is women don't get it. And when I tell you, when I teach women, I'm like, your communication style is terrible. Your communication style is pushing them away. And what the man does is you see, he just puts his hands up and says, I don't want to do, I don't want to talk. He gets silent. And when he gets silent, when the man gets silent, it is the beginning of the end of this relationship. I can tell you that because what happens is he says, I would rather be silent than communicate with someone who is constantly in conflict or turmoil. Yes, I said it's the beginning of the end. It's just a matter of time until you decide I'm going to be different, whether you're a man or a woman. Whenever you get some, I did this the other day. I did it live the other day. Whether you're a man or a woman, if the relationship, if your partner is saying, they don't want to talk, they're just quiet, you haven't talked, it's the beginning of the end. Unless you do something different. I'm telling y'all. And some people will go for years and not say one word, but they're harboring resentment towards you, and they're disconnecting from the relationship. And so what I'm telling you is, all of them have core wounds. And these core wounds, what we're talking about, come from their childhood. It comes from you too, those of you listening, some of the core wounds you have, the reason why maybe you're anxious. I'm going to do anxious one day, anxious, preoccupied. The person that has to get somebody, are you the type of person the person got to call you? They got to call you before they go to bed. They got to call you in the morning. They got to give you the good morning text. And if you ain't right about, if you don't get it, you ain't right. If you ain't heard from them in a while, if you call them or you text them and they don't hit you right back, you start to get anxious. You start to get anxious. Does that sound like y'all? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now, Miss Papula said, are they intimidated by successful women or men? They could be, but that may not be attachment style. That may be something else. But yeah, but they don't necessarily have to be. They could be. Let me say this. They may not be intimidated because you're successful. Listen, Miss Papula. What's happening is that they're not intimidated because you're successful. They're intimidated because you're emasculating. They're intimidated because of the masculinity in the communication. Okay? And Bella says, some folks are stubborn and stuck in their ways. Ain't nobody got time for that. Well, Miss Bella, are you stuck in your ways? Do you know how to communicate with them? It's easy to say that about someone else. And you're right, people don't have time for that. And so what I will say is, I always tell my people, let's look at ourselves first, because it's just y'all. It's far easier. Let me just say this to y'all. It is very easy to say that someone else is at fault. It's far easier to absolve ourselves and say, I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing good. I'm communicating. I'm doing what's right. And so when you say that, Somebody just says, how do you communicate with an avoidant attachment style? I'm gonna talk about that inside my challenge. I got a 5-day challenge coming up with how do you communicate with emotionally avoidant people, emotionally unavailable people. It's called Beyond the Silence. And y'all, what I'm saying is, listen to me. Listen to Coach. Coach used to be a bad communicator. So I want to talk to y'all for a minute. Can I talk to y'all about me? Let me talk to y'all about me. Coach used to be a terrible communicator. And 16 years ago, my wife, I was headed for a divorce court. My wife and I couldn't get along. She couldn't stand me and I couldn't really stand her. Everything we did, everything we talked about, it led to an argument. And it wasn't, and I always blamed her. And I always blamed her because she wouldn't talk. She would shut down. But I was the type of person, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it right now. How many of you are like that? Let's talk about it right now. And she wouldn't talk. And it would make me madder and madder. And the more she shut down, the more I would try to make her talk. All right? Does that sound like anybody? Well, the more I did that, the further we got apart. The further our relationship drifted apart. And it wasn't until one day I realized that I had to change. And me wanting to change made my wife want to change. We've been married 23 years. And the truth is, y'all, we didn't know how to deal with conflict. But now I tell people, my wife and I rarely argue, almost never. Now, listen to what I'm about to say. Somebody write this down. Disagreements are inevitable, but arguments are optional. You see, we rarely argue now because communication, it begins and ends with communication. The reason why, y'all, I tell you this is because the number one reason relationships fail, the number one reason is because of uncommunicated expectation and needs. That means you have a need, you have an expectation in your relationship or in dating, but you don't say what that need is. You don't say what it is. You don't say what it is, and the other person, you leave it to them to figure out. And someone just said this. Listen to this. Not all marriages are equal, sir. Some people like to gaslight you in confrontation. I know that not all relationships are equal. Thank you for reminding me. I'm a relationship coach who specializes in communication. But what I do know is this. I do know that many people gaslight and the other people don't know how to communicate. I do know that. You're right. Relationships are not all equal. But I will tell you this, based on the thousands I've coached, based on the hundreds of relationships I've saved, I know the number one reason relationships fail is because of uncommunicated expectation and needs. You have a need, think about it. You expect your partner to be a certain way, but your partner's not that way. And you never mention it. And then you start getting more bitter and bitter when the partner does not meet that need or that expectation. But because you say things like, they should know, because they've been married, they should know. I ain't raising nobody, their parents should raise them. And what happens is the more you say they should know, the more you withdraw your communication and you do not communicate. And then the person does not know. You know what I'm saying? Person does not know. And then there's a wedge that gets bigger and bigger and bigger until it's done. Till you walk away and say, I'm done. Wow. I see it all the time. So scorched earth, you're right. Not all marriages are equal. And I think I know that because I've saved so many of them. But I do know one thing. I do know one thing, that all relationships begin and end with communication. And so many people are emotionally unavailable. Some people are anxious. Some people have trauma. And at the end of the day, most of us don't know how to, 98% of us don't know how to communicate. We're poor communicators. And that's just the truth, y'all. You can accept it or not, but it's just the truth. I'm sorry. And so what I'm going to say is, good night, Anne Marie. Good night. Have a good night. And what I'm going to say is this. For those of you who want, all right, I'm going to give you one or two options. Here's the one or two options. I'm doing a challenge. It's called Beyond the Silence, Communicating with People Who Are Emotionally Unavailable. I'm going to show you how to communicate whether you're dating or in a relationship. If you're interested in that, what I want you to do is go to my bio. In whatever platform you're on, go to my bio, click on my link tree, click on it. And it will say, you'll see the challenge. You can click general session. It's a 5-day challenge coming up March 10th. You can click on the general or you can click on the VIP. Now, the difference is with VIP, you got access to the recordings in perpetuity. If you do just general, you got the recordings for 24 hours. You got access to the recordings for 24 hours. Now you come to class, got access to the recordings for 24 hours. You get VIP, you got access to the recordings for in perpetuity. Also, you get an hour with me before class. We do a VIP session every single class. So for those of you who got all these questions that I'm seeing pop up, come to the challenge. So, because somebody else is needing the answer to these questions as well. And so for those of you who are looking for the link, go to my bio, click the link, and it says the 5-day challenge, Beyond the Silence, Communicating with Emotionally Unavailable People. Now, so here's my second offer. For those of you who know, and if you sign up for the challenge, I'm going to give you a free gift. All right, if you sign up for the challenge, I'm gonna give you a free gift if you just go do it. Now, for the rest of you who say, Coach, I want to book a session with you. Y'all notice I'm doing 30-minute free sessions. 30-minute free sessions, because and I call these How Can I Help You sessions. Now, at the end of the session, I'm going to tell you to do something. I'm going to tell you to do something. So for those of you who want to book a session with either me or my lead coach, Coach Rose, I can't do them all because we got too many coming in. My lead coach in my academy, she may do some, she may reach out, be either one of us. But for the most part, I'm doing most all of them. It's 30 minutes. And look, at the end of the 30 minutes, it don't take me but 19 minutes to break down what the problem is in your relationship, what the challenge is. It doesn't take me but 19 minutes. I always tell people, I normally figure it out within 13 minutes because I'm going to ask you questions, but I can help you. So here's what I'm going to do. If for those of you who want to get the 30-minute sessions, what you do, you email me, my team, at Coach Ken, K-E-N, Canyon, C-A-N-I-O-N. That's Coach Ken Canyon at gmail.com. And say, hey, Coach, we'd like to sign up for the 30-minute session. And my team will get back with you. Okay? Here's y'all. Somebody said get the cards, y'all. Thank you, Tanya. Tanya's talking about our card deck. Now, Tanya's talking about we created a card game. She created a card game called The Moment of Truth. And this is my copy. This is why it's all beat up. And what it is, it's a card game that helps you get to know the other person. We did this first, and then we did the sex first. Thanks, Tanya. Appreciate it. But for those of you who Cindy said don't take 19 minutes. And they're right, Cindy, it don't take 19 minutes. Cindy's had a session with me. It does not take 19 minutes. So let me give you the email again. It's Coach, C-O-A-C-H, Ken, K-E-N, last name Canyon, C-A-N-I-O-N, at gmail.com. That's that's Coach Ken Canyon. Coach Ken coachkencanion@gmail.com and email me, and we'll reach back out to you for the 30-minute session. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm gonna tell you right now. I am going to tell you you need to join our challenge. I'm going to tell you that. I'm going to, because I know I can tell you, I can break down in less than 19 minutes what's going on. Oh, thank you, Tara. I appreciate that. I can break down in 19 minutes what's going on, but whether you fix it or not, that relies on you. That's up to you. So you can email me. Y'all email me. I can meet you. We'll do the 30-minute sessions because I've been doing them. I promised myself I was going to do these for 2 months or 3 months at the most. I was going to do these just for my way of giving back, because God has blessed me, y'all. He's blessed me to have great clients. He's blessed me to have a great team. You know, my wife is on my team now. Operations manager, Alan Palmer. Taylor is our social media person, and Coach Rose. My team is amazing. They're amazing, y'all. God has blessed me. And it's my way of giving back and helping people. Now, you don't have to take my advice. You don't have to. But I got to do my part. Yes, the 30 minutes are free. They are free, absolutely free. I'm doing it this month, and then I decide at the end of the month that we want to do it for March. March will probably be the last month that we do. March will probably be, if we go March. But take advantage of it now. And so I will say, email me at coachkencanion@gmail. And listen, y'all, I'm gonna tell you something. Coach Rose is awesome. She is awesome. She is awesome. Coach Rose is my lead coach. We've been together over 3 years. She's awesome. My team is awesome. So listen, y'all, that's my time. I just wanted to kind of give y'all a little something. Don't discard people. Don't discard people. What if somebody discarded you? You don't discard people without doing everything you can to save the relationship, if the relationship is worth saving. Some relationships, the best thing y'all need to do is both walk away. You both need to walk away. But you don't do that unless you've done everything you can. And y'all think about it like this. I would not be with my wife. My wife is my best friend, my lover. I can't imagine doing this life without her. Had I not changed my communication, had I not gotten better at it, had I not, I would not be doing this. So for those of you who want to get better, for those of you who know you want to come to the challenge, if you know you already want to come to the challenge, I would click on the profile, click on my profile, click on my link tree, and book. And the challenge is called Beyond the Silence, Communicating with Emotionally Unavailable People. If you know that, book the challenge. Then I will say also, if you want a session with me or Coach Rose, email us at coachkencanion@gmail.com. And we'll set you up, and we'll do the 30 minutes, and we'll figure it out. All right, y'all. That is my time. Y'all have a great evening. Peace.